Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast. I am your co-host today, JCOM, with Mr. Ben Tuine. I just shortened it up. You know, I'm going to be a rapper, I think. JCOM.
Yeah, they called my son B-Dub when he was in the NICU.
Really?
So Benjamin Welton is his first and middle name. B-Dub, B-Dub. So we made a big sign. You know, everything that they had on the board where they write the patient's name, we erased that, put B-Dub.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. If you were a rapper, Ben, what would your name be?
I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit, when I was a kid, my nickname was Sniff Dog.
Sniff Dog. Hell yeah.
That's because, like, I was so obsessed by smells that everything, like when we cracked coconut open, I would smell the coconut before I would drink it. When I would open a can of soda, I would always smell it before we drank it. You know, even food, I would smell the food, and they gave me the name Sniff Dog. So
Sniff Dog.
That's among people that I grew up with. I am still Sniff Dog.
Yeah, Sniff Dog.
That's because we listened to a lot of Snoop Dogg back in the days. That's where that name came from.
I saw a post on Facebook last night, and it's like, if what your rock star name, right? It's like your rock star name, combine the color of your underwear now and what you last ate, and that's your rock star name. So I was thinking, yeah, my rock star name would be like Gray Salsa.
Oh,
or Black Salsa.
We need to issue an official apology to our listeners for that.
Yeah, there were so many people I saw. So many people in the dental industry were like posting on it. I was laughing. I was crying so hard. I was laughing.
That is
I was laughing. I was crying so hard because I was laughing.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. They said like this is your rock star name, and it had like 30,000, I think more, comments on it. It was, I don't know who posted it, but I was laughing so hard because it was just so funny. Right? Like I saw a couple people that I'm that are like influencers in the dental space, like commenting on it. And I'm like, wow, I would have never thought of that. Cause it's like, choose your color of underwear and the last thing you ate, that's your rock star name. It was funny.
I can't even remember the last thing I ate. I ate crab. I ate crab legs last night.
Yeah, nice.
So I guess white crab legs.
White crab leg. Yeah, it's awesome. Anyways, yeah, I've been hanging a lot on Facebook lately, and there's a lot of funny things happening in the dental world. You know,
that's good. We need a little bit of a break. Dentistry is stressful. You know, I'm just surprised that I think 3-4 years ago when we did a podcast with somebody that wanted to talk about the stresses of dentistry.
Sure, yeah.
To me, it was probably the most boring episode that we did. But it was one of the most listened to episodes. And I was like, I had no idea that dentistry was that much of a tough career for most people.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's, you know, I kind of get it. You know, dentistry is a hard career physically too, but I think financially, which is what we want to talk about today, right?
Yeah,
just the stresses of running a business. And, you know, it's the bucket model, right? You take your bucket to the lake every day and you're going back and forth.
Yeah,
I like your model where it's a pipeline model, right?
Yeah. I'm glad you remember that story. I wrote it's the pipeline. It's called the story of the pipeline, where basically, if you're running your business without proper systems and automations and things like that, it's like you're carrying buckets. Like you got hired to carry water from the lake to a well, right? And you just were given a bucket and you're carrying back and forth. Hauling water back and forth with buckets. in fact, the story has two people in it, right? Where there's one guy that just had the bucket mindset where he's like, I'm going to carry water with a bucket every day, and just fill up the well, and I get paid with water I deliver to the well, right? It's a parable. I think the book is called The Parable of the Pipeline or something like that. I probably butchered the name, but and then you had the second person that got hired to deliver water to the village, right? This time. And he's like, well, I'm going to spend my time building a pipeline. And initially it's not going to generate revenue for me when I deliver because I'm not delivering water to the village yet. And he eventually builds this pipeline, and all of a sudden he's delivering water day in and day out without having to carry buckets back and forth every day and wear himself out. And in dentistry, we can compare to dentistry where you're using your hands, your body to help patients and restore patients' smiles. And it's a lot like carrying buckets back and forth to deliver water to a well to people, right?
Yeah.
So the point is to understand the importance of passive income or recurring revenue or just systems, right? It doesn't have to always be things that deliver revenue. It could be making sure you're hiring people to help you in your practice or hiring associates. But this has been a hot topic I've seen lately with at least people that follow what I've been doing in the industry. And it seems like passive income is becoming more important, especially as inflation increases and insurance continues to get harder and harder to work with. Practice owners need to figure out ways to generate passive income, which means, and if you don't know what that is, I hope you do. Passive income is basically revenue coming in, whether you do dentistry or not, right? A couple of examples of that, Ben, and I managed a dental lab, and there was no passive income. It was very similar to a dental practice business model where we'd come in, and as a technician, I was required to create something or a lot of things in one day, a lot of crowns, dentures, things like that, in order to generate revenue. And one thing that always bothered me is I could never produce revenue. Like if I were sick, I could never produce revenue, right? And it strained that business too. If one of us were sick at the dental lab, it would strain that company. We couldn't produce as much in that day. We're kind of capped with human effort, right?
Right.
Same thing if one of us went on vacation, and we all want to take vacations. I think that's very important. You got to have a break every once in a while, right? And it always bothered me at the dental lab that we could never scale our revenue because it was tied to us carrying buckets every day, right? Us creating crowns every day, which is equivalent to buckets. So years ago, I read a book called The Automatic Customer that talks about passive income and recurring revenue. Also read an amazing book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Have you read that book, Ben?
Oh yeah. I've read both. Yeah.
That was the first book I read that really inspired me to become an entrepreneur. I always wanted to own businesses and things like that. But after I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I remember I read it in like 2 days because I was fascinated by what he was talking about. And it's all passive income. So revenue that comes in, whether you do dentistry or not, or whether you do whatever business you're in or not, right? And I'm a big advocate for generating passive income in a practice and helping others. Like my daughter, for example, Ben, we just bought like 4 claw machines. I don't know if you've passed by my garage and you've seen those blue claw machines.
I have. I was tempted to stop by and play one of them.
I've teaching my daughter how to make passive income, and we bought these claw machines and we put them in pediatric dental offices, and we're trying to place one in a movie theater in Orem, Utah, because it's cash only. And like last month, as an 8-year-old, she made like $100 or so while she was in school, while she was playing at recess, while she was at home, while she was doing homework. And I told her, I'm like, her name's Lennon. She's a badass. My daughter, I have all daughters, and I want them. They're so cool, and I think they're going to be really successful because they're just driven human beings, and they're curious about everything. It's fun. It's fun being dad of all daughters.
That's a better way to teach them about money. The kids that go out and do the lemonade stands, that's great. They make that effort to do that.
Totally. And I've
Right?
taught her that too.
Yeah, and this is good for them to know that they can create a system or create a service that
Yeah.
they don't necessarily have to manage. Like my
Yeah.
brother and I were doing ATM machines,
Yeah.
and
I bought an ATM machine just barely.
man, you get 20 or 30 of those, and that's a really good amount of passive income. The maintenance
Totally.
is really low. I just spoke to a client a couple weeks ago in North Carolina, and he's going on a 3-week vacation next month,
Uh-huh.
and he does them 3-4 times a year. It's like, man, how do you make that work? And he's like, well, I have associates, that are
Yeah.
committed, and there's opportunities for them to buy in as partners if
Yeah.
they prove themselves. So he created a model where the production of the associates is almost identical to that of a practice owner, right? Big difference with what associates do. And I think when you talk about building an associateship model to have passive income, we struggle with this when I first started in dentistry at a DSO.
Sure.
We had associates, most of which had their own practices. We didn't have any doctor owners that were part of the group. Well, I think no, I think we had one, but he didn't practice. He lived in Vegas and we were in Phoenix. But the production was different. When I looked at some of the doctors' numbers at the group, the DSO, and then looked at their private practice, like, man, they kill it at their private practice on the days that they're there, but they don't here, right?
Yeah.
At the group practice. So this client in North Carolina just kind of opened me up to his model and how he does it, how he can take 3 times 3, 9 weeks of vacation in a year.
Yeah.
as a doctor, right?
And still generate revenue with the associate model.
And he makes more now than he made when he was solo.
Yeah, it's the law of leverage, right? Goes along
Right.
with passive income models like this.
So dentistry is a bucket business, right? Where it's transactional, but
It could be, yeah.
You can convert it to a passive business with this type of model, right? Where the key thing is that the business will run, you'll have income even if you don't show up. That is the ultimate holy grail, excuse me, of business ownership, is not necessarily being the producer.
Yeah.
That'll determine whether the business makes money or not. If you get into an accident tomorrow and you break your hands, that becomes a question, is how do you generate that passive income? So what are some of the ideas that you have?
Yeah. So obviously what you just said is, so like hiring associates and even giving them a piece, like minority share of the company, that could always be smart.
Mm-hmm.
I would never do the 50-50 model. I mean, in some cases that works, especially with associates, like let them earn it.
Right.
I think the associate model is good. I know I just got back from Dr. Mark Cossey's conference, and I know he utilizes that model in his locations. And I actually did a podcast with Mark a couple of days ago talking about the same topic, because I think it's really important as practice owners that you understand this type of revenue model in your business. It'll give you a lot of peace of mind. But a lot of things, obviously, that what I'm seeing out there, because I deal with a lot of this in the industry, are membership programs, right? And I'm seeing a variety of different types of membership programs that, being a revenue or subscription geek, I'm like really like geeking out over here. Obviously, so I wrote a book recently. It's a short book. It's called How to Create 50K a Month with a Membership Plan. Mm-hmm. So obviously the most common thing practices are doing are these like hygiene maintenance plans, right? Or just standard membership programs where they got hygiene and cleaning, regular exams baked in. On Dr. Mark Cossey's podcast the other day, we talked about discount only membership plans. That's what his offices do. Mm-hmm. And it's basically the patient pays a subscription to get, 10 to 20% off of cleanings, off of restorative, off of everything. They're not including those in it. It's a discount only plan. And that's really interesting. And everything you do, every patient that signs up for that is a passive income stream. Right. Another thing that we're seeing are perio maintenance plans. And keep in mind that not everyone who signs up for a membership plan will utilize it at 100%, meaning that's where, a lot of the passive income can come from, and recurring revenue comes from. Very similar to insurance, Ben. What's the usage of insurance? If a patient's on a PPO plan, how many patients use it fully?
Yeah, well, 52% of children on a PPO use it every year. 37% of adults use it every year. 22% do restorative. 6% max out their benefits. So it's low utilization.
Wow.
This is why the ortho programs are pretty good, because you have a flat fee, but that's paid out over a couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's kind of like a passive income model where it's maintenance over time, right?
Sure.
And one of the things I see in a lot of practices that's a big miss is that even if you have a PPO patient where, let's say, the treatment plan is even $5,000,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times when you max out that 1,500, most practices will require the patient to pay the remaining 3,500, right?
Sure. Yeah.
What we did at the group practice that I really liked is we did a 90-day same as cash. So if they did 90 days of payments, there's no interest, and if they paid in full. But we also did treatment plans that did go 2-3 years out, especially if they were bigger treatment plans. Credit, the tough part is having a system to qualify for on the credit component. But our reoccurring payments every month in that one location practice that I was working at was over 120 grand.
Wow.
In reoccurring subscription payments. Yeah. Well, at least not, I guess it's not subscription. It's more so we did
installment plans. Yeah.
And that came with interest.
Way.
So
sure.
The guy that set this up for us was an employee. He was a former personal banker. So he created the risk model.
Sure.
And then he created the interest percentage as well. And so it worked out really well that 120,000 paid for the entire overhead of the practice, and it had a good chunk of interest that came with it.
That's passive income.
Yeah, so that's something to consider, is that whether it's membership plans or perio plans, when you have insurance, you can still capture those large treatment plans by not working with a patient, having flexibility on some type of in-house financing. I personally never do care credit, because that's a 10% fee, right?
10 to 15% on top of the PPO discounts, even on top of membership.
Yeah, and you don't earn any interest on what the patients pay care credit.
No.
So care credit has some merit. They work out really well. But what we did is we were our own in-house version of care credit and carry that risk. And we charge interest to offset the risk, right?
Yeah.
We expect some people to not pay. And it worked out beautifully.
Genius.
Oh, yeah.
It's genius. And we actually built a long time ago in BoomCloud a way to manage what we call installment plans, what you're talking about, where you can add your own interest and manage the payment, the monthly payments, I think that's a wonderful way to go about it. Even like car dealerships do that. You go to a car dealership and if you do get financing, they're partnered with some of the financing, they get kickback of the payments and the interest, right? So I think it's a smart model.
And I have an opinion on how that helps the practice owner, especially in this case, the doctors that are focusing on clinical care. Like for me, in looking at the next several months, if I do nothing, I have income, I have payment plans and income that'll not only pay for our overhead expenses, but it'll pay everybody's salaries, including mine, right?
Yeah. And
from a business perspective, I'm not stressed, right? I'm not thinking about where
you're sleeping well at night, Ben.
Right? And so from a clinical, a practice ownership perspective, it relieves so much financial stress to where your focus is on what you need to focus on, right? Clinical care. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing for me, is that seeing that down the road is like, man, for the next year, we're good. Now I can focus on my clients, right? Recruiting will happen. People will sign up. We'll still add to that.
You focus on growth. Yeah. It's awesome. One of the most surprising ways to make passive income for in dentistry recently, I was driving down the street here in Utah, and I saw a little company that just offers whitening subscriptions. They don't do restorative care and everything. It's a fascinating model, and I think it is. But they charge $39 a month, $30 to $39 a month for unlimited whitening and whitening maintenance and all this stuff. And I'm like, what?
That's more than what a PPO plan charges.
I'm like, what? That's crazy. I called the office and they have over 2,000 patients signed up on their $39 a month plan. which is what, like 80, what is that? Let's do some math real quick. It's like 80,
39, 78,000 a month.
Yeah, just under $80,000 a month in predictable recurring revenue from whitening. And you know that not 100% of those patients are going to utilize all of it, right? So I've been encouraging a lot of our customers here at BoomCloud to set up these plans because number one, you probably can charge a little bit cheaper than a whitening only practice, right? Or business. So you can get a lot more patients signed up, but you can also attract your insured, your uninsured, your inactive patients to join these types of plans and get them back into the office. And it was funny because I posted some things on I think it was Dental Town. And they're like, well, there's a lot better ways to make money in dentistry than whitening memberships. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And I get it. And this was a doctor he started talking about, doing more all-in-4s. I'm like, that's amazing and smart. Yeah, I agree. All-in-4s are a great way to make money in dentistry. You can make $20,000 in one case or more, right? But that's not my point. My point is saying have the $20,000, $30,000 a month in predictable recurring revenue from like a whitening plan, plus the 20,000 from an all-in-4 case.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like that. My point is that every aspect of the business, you should be trying to think of how you can make predictable recurring revenue or passive income, right? And then on top of it, that's when you do the bigger cases and things like that, and it adds more to the revenue component of the practice. And I just thought it was interesting that this doctor was thinking buckets, right? He was thinking, well, I can just go find an all-on-4 bucket and carry it across the county, right? And get 20K for that. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but you want pipeline too. You want pipeline plus your big cases, right? And when I say pipeline, I'm passive income.
You have to be open to these things because sometimes you surprise yourself, right? When you're like, you're open to some of these concepts. Because when you first told me about that whitening thing, I thought, who in the hell would pay $39 a month?
Yeah.
2,000 people would. Right.
Yeah. In this particular case. Yeah.
That proves the model.
Yeah.
And we're often afraid, like I hear this all the time in working with clients when we pitch an idea to them and they're like, oh, patients won't do that. And I'm like, I have over 5,000 former clients and 700 current clients that have done this. You can't tell me what can and can't be done because it's already been done, right?
It's already been done. And I was surprised, right? Because I've been at this subscription game for a long time. And this is kind of a new wave that I'm looking, and I'm like, I love it. I love that a practice went out and not even a practice. I think it's a hygienist that owns it with her husband. And she went out and she's like, I'm just going to do whitening. And I'm going to charge a subscription for it. And I'm like, that is genius.
That's awesome.
Because I looked it up, Ben, and like 56% of people in the US aren't happy with the color of their teeth. It's a simple problem.
That's
we're focused on like the big cases. Oh, I only am going to focus on all-in-4s. Like, no, you can still do that, but with whitening, unlimited whitening memberships, it's genius.
It is. That's kind of, well, it's not kind of smart. That's genius smart right there. That's thinking outside of the box.
It is. And the cool thing is that the majority of general practitioners and even like pediatric dentists, I called my mom up. She manages an office. I'm like, you guys should offer a whitening membership plan. She's like, we've actually been thinking about that. I was talking because they get parents coming in every day waiting. I'm like, why don't you just like capitalize on that waiting time? Just go to the parents and say, hey, you can join our unlimited whitening plan. And we've got, how they have whitening lasers with the glow systems. There's a lot of options out there that you can implement in your office.
Tons. Yeah.
There's so many, all the way just down to the most simple, which is like the Ultradent, the opalescence. Like just, hey, you get
gel.
You're on the subscription, you get unlimited opalescence trays, right? Or whatever it is. You can be creative with it.
The material costs are so low for things like that.
Yeah, I was talking to this pediatric dentist that my mom works with in the office. And he's like, we have been thinking about that, but I did not think about making it a subscription. I'm like, everything you should do is you should be thinking how you can make it a subscription so it generates passive income every month for your practice. And you know how you went on vacation the other day, doctor, and you had to shut everything down, and the only thing that was making you money was your hygiene membership plan, right? It was because they got a couple hundred active patients on their membership plan. I'm like, this, like, add a layer of membership. Every single parent that comes in is probably going to be interested. Not everyone's going to sign up, but you can at least get a handful of patients signing up. And even though you're a pediatric office, you're still, helping the patients, the parents while they wait. So anyways, I just think it's super interesting that this model exists. But we're encouraging a lot of our practices to do this because number one, you can target, like one of the biggest issues is, I got X amount of patients on insurance. We can't offer them a membership plan. Well, yeah, you can. You can do a unlimited whitening plan. You could you can create a plan that helps if they hit their maximum, a PPO maximum plan right after they've hit their maximum, that they get benefits on that. So you can be really creative. But Ben, I know you've got a call here soon. I have a book that I've written that's called How to Make 50K a month with a membership plan or more. And it talks about all these things. And I have a course that's called the Passive Income for Dentistry course that I'll share in the show notes, but you can go to boomcloudapps.com/50K. So 50K. And you can get that book that will then take you to, you'll get that book download that talks about how to make that type of recurring revenue in the practice. But then we have the passive income course that you can get that talks about a lot of the stuff that Ben and I were talking about today, and then some, like how to attract small business owners and their employees to help you scale your subscriptions and all that stuff. But that's kind of what was on my mind today, Ben. So hopefully we've inspired several people to get more passive income. There's so many ways to do it in dentistry, and I think a lot of people aren't thinking about creating passive income. They're thinking about the big all-in-4 cases, right? Which are cool. I always love getting those at the dental lab, but passive income was the biggest thing that we were missing at the dental lab, and the same thing with practices. So I encourage you all to go check out that book.
Yeah. And then come check us out, Principles of Practice Management, in August 2022. Where is that? Is that in Nashville?
That's in Nashville, Tennessee. Ben and I are speaking there. So come check us out. Come say hi, hang out with us for a weekend at the Principles of Practice Management in Nashville, Tennessee. Just Google that. You'll find it. In the last episode, I had Pam come on and talk about the show. So check out that episode. Okay, everybody. We hope you have a rocking day. Ben, good seeing you.
Likewise, man. Take care, everybody. We'll talk soon. Well, at least we'll be talking with you very soon again.
Yeah, rock on.
Jordan.
We'll see you.
Rock on.
Bye.
See ya.